All right, so first position is child pose. Remember, it's a great stretch for many parts of our body here. It's really nice for just kind of creating more meditative mind state. So I'm using my blocks to get the extra underarm stretch here. Forehead on the floor, just starting to connect to your breath. If there's any other posture you'd like to do here to start, seated meditation or laying on your back, that's fine. Just try to relax for a few moments. Practice focusing your attention inward. Deepening the breath in and out the nose. All right, yogis, big inhale. Please take your time. Remember, Sunday is a little bit slower, a little bit easier, so feel free to change the practice as much as needed, okay? Come up to tabletop here. Start with a cat-cow or 5. Inhale, arching your back. Exhale, rounding the spine. Getting into the shoulder blades, spreading the back on the exhale. Last few moments there, please. All right, next movement from tabletop. It's a little bit, subtle, but it can be a very big stretch. My knees stay where they are. My hands walk to the right. My left arm kind of reaches away, and my hips drop down and back. Okay, so my left arm reaches way over to the right. My hips kind of drop down, even back to the left a little. Okay, and then I come back to tabletop after a pause. Hands walk to the left. Right arm reaches over toward the left more, and then I kind of drop the buttocks back and down a little bit. And then you kind of alternate just 2 to 3 more times per side. Taking a deep breath into the tightness here. Should feel a big side stretch, all right? All right, yogis, back through center. Classic here. We haven't done this one in a while, but it's traditional, foundational body core work. Strong feet and hands. Inhale, right leg and left arm. Now, you can get a little fancy today if you want. Take an inhale here, pull the belly in, don't arch the back. Flex the foot. Exhale, the elbow to the knee under the body. And then inhale, kind of second part here, right knee, right arm, left elbow toward left hip. So you go wide, okay? Inhale, exhale under, inhale, and exhale wide. Just to be clear, in case you can't see it, the wide here, I'm going out, okay? Go ahead, try to do, the minimum we're trying to get to is like 6. Get a little bit of movement, stimulating the hips, knees, ankles, all the major joints. If you can go a little extra, feel free. We also do this in plank pose in case you're feeling really good, okay? All right, yogis, the second side. So a core warm up here. Make sure you press your right foot down, left leg up, and grip your left hand, right arm forward, okay? Don't arch the back, pull the ribs in a little bit, big inhale, elbow to knee, inhale, elbow to hip, left arm. Okay, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last few. Again, the two-part today. This exercise is excellent because it's waking up what we call the phasic muscles and the tonic muscle fibers. So it's like balance and big muscle strength. It's really good for stabilizing across the spine and just waking up the major joints without too much strain. It's a really excellent all levels exercise. All right, yogis, let's get down to our forearm plank. Just going through a few basics here. If you'd rather do any type of plank work, that's fine. Just something a little bit more kind of symmetrical, maybe static in parts of the body here. So hips about as high as the shoulders. Engage your butt and your thighs. Work on spreading your back. Something I like to do that's simple is kind of just lift the leg. If I want a little bit more, put that leg down and then lift the other leg. Now, as I lift the leg, I'm not really letting weight shift in the shoulders too much or the hips. I'm trying to keep the legs engaged. Learning to use those legs a little bit more in plank can really just take a lot of the unnecessary stress out of the shoulders and like the neck. So that's a constant reminder in plank, like squeeze the glutes, the thighs, trying to work on connecting and pulling the core in a little bit more. Even things like using your calves. Whether it's you pushing your heels more forward or kind of flexing the feet, pushing the heels back. So, you're kind of on your own here for a plank. You can hold as long as you'd like. Just depends on how you're feeling, right? If I was feeling really good, I might do like a first handstand instead of a plank, right? So we'll come down to the chest. Take your time. A movement here, please. Big twisting movement. Arms go wide. Right hand, left foot toward right hand. Okay, but you're not obviously trying to reach that hand. Okay, back to your chest. Feel all the subtle nuances here. Left hand out. Right foot kind of reaches back up and open. So it's a big rolling side to side. Exhale to center. Right hand out. Left foot toward right hand. Exhaling back through neutral. Remember, you can also bend the arms. You can angle the arm a little bit higher. You can even, stretch it like this here where the hand stays tucked in. That'll be the most front part of your shoulder. So you can switch up the arms as you're kind of rolling side to side. Now I'm bending it 90 degrees. So if you did want to peek up at me, yogis, you can have your arm here. This is a different stretch. That's pec minor, right? So if I have my arm up at a little bit more of that higher angle, different stretch. You can also do the bent arm. You can also, if you look up at me there, the palm can roll up. That's going to be different as well. And then we also bend it here. Just notice that the elbow is always kind of high as the shoulder. Okay, except in this one. So last couple of tries, should feel pretty good around the chest. Nice. Yeah, if you want to hold it, that's fine too. I'm just doing the moving variation, all right? Whenever you feel good there, we'll meet back on the chest, working our cobra. Active to start. We'll be doing a couple Chaturangas in a moment, kind of putting everything together. Point your toes, engage your thighs. Pull the abdomen in, press your pubic bone down. So there's so much little activity in the legs and the core. Inhale, lift the heart. If you want more, kind of arms reach back, arms lift, but feet stay down just to start. It's a different exercise to keep it in your lower back more. Lower down slowly. Inhale. Pausing up in that tension, rolling the shoulders back, and exhale. Now, yogis, you can use your arms, but remember, we're not really stretching yet. We're more activating. So if I were to use my arms here, I would lift, and I would use my hands minimal. So I would still try to keep the strength in my back, and even as I lower down, it's like minimal hands. So I'm going up with my back, minimal hands, down with my back muscles, minimal hands, okay? Hope that makes sense. Last few. You know, whereas plank worked on activating the front body, the opposite arm and leg, you think it's a lot of back body, but it's more a little bit hamstrings and hips. There's not that much like lower back in actual movement. So this is that real main thing in the warm-up where our lower back is activating fully, our upper and middle back also, but lower back is really what I'm using it for, okay? If you'd like, we did child pose in the beginning, but a few of you missed that. We're gonna take a quick child pose if you need. Otherwise, first big downward dog, okay? So when you're ready, no rush, it's a forward bend and a little extra breaths here. So some of you is taking your child pose. Other you is right to down dog. Eventually we'll all kind of meet there, down dog. And you know, use it to get into your feet. As I like to say, feel good movements initially, but then settling into a second intention of more stillness, breath work, little subtle body refinements. Trying to let the head hang low, breathing deep. I like to try to feel that smooth, deep inhale in the nose, kind of going right into the eyes, energetically right into like the front of the brain. Slow exhale. Remember, we worked this breath called the Ujjayi. It's a slight restriction in the lower throat. It's called the glottis, if you want to be technical there. So you're kind of like closing your airway a little and your mouth is closed. It's like you're breathing in and out your mouth, but it's closed, right? So you should hear this kind of slight whisper on the inhale and exhale. It's really awesome for breath control, not letting it rush in or out, okay? A couple Chaturangas now, yogis. Let's get some heat going on your inhale. Let's shift forward to plank. Either knees, chest, chin, or just lowering down halfway or all the way. You know what to do here, working it in. Your back bend on the inhale. Remember, there's some fun variations too, where you can do that more smooth variation. I just kind of inhale forward, up dog, exhale. That does eliminate the push-up, okay? But I like to do that often as well. But then there is the crazy strength push-up, where it's kind of the same, but I do bend my arms and get low, all right? Nose, chest, hips, down, and then lift, and then it's the same back. You stay low as you go back and up, okay? So it's this big kind of slow swooping type of vinyasa chaturanga. Last few, please. We're not gonna do a ton of these today, but something to really get moving on those arms, lengthening the front and back body. Last few, please. Yeah, nice. Extra push-ups are always good to add. And like I said, if you're feeling good and you want to just jump up on the wall and hold a handstand, that's kind of interchangeable here. It's a little less moving, but hey, if you're warmed up and ready, you're already ready. So sometimes you go into like things like Jiva Mukti Yoga. It's a very bhakti yoga. You know, you chant for, you know, the first 15 minutes of class. Classes are like an hour 45. So you chant and just sit. And then the first thing they're like, handstand at the wall, right? And you're like, whoa. Let's keep it going, guys. We're gonna work a little bit of poses now. We already did hip extensions and lateral. We're doing pretty good on our warm-up. Most of the body, lacking maybe a little twist, right? So we're gonna meet back in downward dog. Right foot is gonna step forward. We're gonna go right for just a few breaths in each of these postures, all right? Back toes tucked, back heel lifts, back knee lifts, right arm out and up, okay? Just a breath or three. Turning that chest up to the sky, bending the front knee, lifting the back thigh more. So everything is kind of active, but also relaxing. Deep breathing in your lunge twist. You should also, you know, hopefully feel a little stretch here in the outer hip, spine, the chest. Big inhale. Right hand down, right leg straightens, hips up and over the knee. So, you know, a couple weeks ago, we were doing dynamic work here. We were doing balancing. Today, a little bit more kind of classic right hip and down. Press your feet down. Inhale, lengthen your chest. And let's forward fold. Remember, we're working on pressing the feet down, just grounding the body, okay? Right hip is going back and down slightly. Thighs are engaging. Big inhale. Third final part, front knee bends, back hips drop down and forward. Chest lifts up. Trying to feel a stretch in your front hip flexor, left leg now, where we're just targeting more the right leg. If you want a little more, left arm goes up and a side bend. If you missed the beginning, we did this nice little walking side bend. Now we'll go a lot bigger. Left arm goes up and over to the right, okay? So just in case you can't see, we're in this Anjanasana, left arm up and over. Pedigasana, it's called. That's a double psoas traction. We're pulling the upper body away from the spreading of the legs. Whether we do it in straddle, which we will in a moment, they're both really fantastic hip flexor lengtheners, okay? Left hand down, right leg goes back. Optional vinyasa chaturanga. Maybe shake the leg out a little bit. You know, optional inversion or cat-cow instead. Just something to kind of neutralize the area of the hips. And a little bit more kind of classic, just stepping our left foot forward. When you're ready, meeting in low lunge. Back toes tuck, back knee lifts. I'm just using my blocks today just to switch it up. You know, I tend to mainly do it with my hands on the floor, but it's nice to kind of get a little bit of different perspective here. Right hand down, left arm up and open. Okay, so we're working here, engaging our legs. Try to really press the big toe down here in both feet. You'll kind of feel how that kind of hugs the body inward. That's how I feel it. When I grip the big toe lightly here, big on both feet, you kind of feel this like energetic hugging in, and that's like the midline, okay? Kind of, you see it a lot in yoga. People tend to roll to their outer hands and outer feet in a lot of postures. So in that case, we press that big toe down, all right? Or vice versa, if we roll to the inner edge, outer edge of the feet down. All right, top hand down, please. Drop your back knee. I think I saw one or two of you go for pyramid. That's the same pose, basically. The back knee's lifted, and your solar foot down. So, you know, I think I saw one of you doing this. That's the same pose, right? Just switching it up here. Left hip back and down, flex that foot. Here we go, big half splits. Don't be shy to go to full splits if you're feeling good, all right? These two postures together are kind of like full splits, right? I'm kind of breaking it down here, whereas this is your front left straight leg, hamstring. The next exercise is that right hip kind of going back and open, okay? So there's your half splits. You stay as long as you need based on what your body's telling you. Next final position here, the right leg more straightens and the left knee now more bends and the hips drop down where they were going back and up. You come now the opposite, okay? Chest goes up and back. Press the feet down, big toes down. If you want to go double here, right arm goes up and we do the side bend. Same thing, like pressing the big toe down, kind of hug stuff in, okay? Squeezing the pelvic floor. Some people consider this stretch one of the longest ways that you can traction your psoas major, right? Because it is a double action, whereas, you know, just holding like a lunge is just that very sagittal action. So anytime we can add multiple planes of and a double pull, it'll be a better stretch, supposedly, right? So when you're ready, left leg back, quick vinyasa if you'd like. Okay, high plank and low plank, up dog and cobra. All right, let's meet in that down dog when you're ready. So a couple big stretches on the legs. So let's just get those going in strength quickly here. Walk your feet to the front of the mat. I'm gonna go right into the chair to start, all right? Drop the butt low and reach those arms high. So a little bit different in chair. Even though I wanna keep the legs engaged, I like to add like a little movement here. So extra challenge if you wanna try it. Right foot down. It is a one-legged left foot hovering. And then the left leg just goes out. So I'm going right into something strong because we already moved the leg quite a bit and stretched it. So I'm gonna hover my left foot in chair, left foot goes out. So we're entering a little bit stronger phase of class, all right? So yeah, left foot hovers and you just bring the leg out. So abduction, it's called, where the left thigh is just going out to the left and then the left thigh comes in, okay? You work hard there, then you find your chair. So left foot down, right foot will hover, and then you're just gonna inhale that right leg out and up. Don't go fast, try to like pause in it. Even if you do like 3 or 6, I'd rather have you have like kind of quality moments in that muscular actions than kind of trying to just get through it and do more. It's kind of like, you know, representing the, you know, people put like bands around their hips and then they walk laterally. It's a good way to like get that same exact type of, you know, action in without the band. So I'm not really alternating. I'm trying to stay on one foot. They're all, you know, a little easier to alternate maybe. I'm just going out, pausing, and then I'm holding there. Okay. You'd be surprised how much that core is working here, okay? Go slow, please. We'll meet with both feet down and we'll stand up. Maybe squeeze the butt a little bit and lift the chest. Think of that like a back bend. Left knee lifts. Okay, so go slow here, yogis. Hands start on the hips. We're gonna try this today. These little movements. We just did outer hip, now it's front, okay? Big inhale, lift the knee, flex the foot, exhale, straighten the leg. Same thing, pause, inhale, standing strong leg, okay? Exhale, straightening that left leg. Just 3 to 6. I know this is very difficult, okay? We're just in like the thick of it right now. Nice, good 20-minute warm up, and now we're working your, you know, what would they call it, peak strength and difficulty. Okay, left foot goes down. This might feel good, like twisting. And at your pace, please. Right knee lifts, just one round, because this will make you quite sore here. Just notice my right hip wants to lift, right hip is down, yogis, okay? Shoulders back and down, big inhale, lift that right knee, and then exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend and lift a little higher, exhale, straighten. Come on, try to feel that thigh working here, yogis. It's the same exact body form as our warrior 3, just done on the bottom or the back leg, right? So it's that same thing. Try not to round your spine or arch your back, okay? Don't let this stuff start happening where you're kind of hinging forward. That happens in warrior 3, right? People are like this, okay? So same thing, same practice in the main body, just kind of straightening and bending what in warrior 3 would be our standing leg. We do that. We do squats in warrior 3 as well, okay? Now go slow. When you're ready, back up to center, releasing the left leg, widen your feet. So today we're going to do moving triangle. I'm just basing it off biomechanics. Outer hip, front hip. This is a little bit more for our inner thigh, okay? A moving triangle pose. You can hold if you want. My feet are about 3 feet apart at least, maybe a little bit wider. Right toes turn out, left toes also angle to the right. Now, this is 3 parts, let's say. Arms can go wide. The right hip dips down is the first part. I lengthen out laterally is the second part. And then I hinge is the third part. And then you could say, with strong legs and core, back up in one action. So I untilt, unlengthen a little bit, and unhinge. So I, remember, it's kind of like drop hip, lengthen, hinge, maybe pause, and then back up, okay? In a sense, we're working the movement into a range, not the end range, which we tend to do more of. I find that these postures feel a lot better when I'm just much more good at controlling and I'm more used to the entries and exits, you know, where you can kind of like slow it down and hold and maintain control and body strength at any little inch in that movement or at all movements. And in modern, that's called like mobility, the ability to maintain strength and control or activate in all ranges throughout movement. And that's really what like a lot of the modern movement fitness people are all merging into. So I like to kind of mix that in the yoga. Okay, we're just going to go basically the second side, yogis. Right, so we did this earlier. A lot of lateral stuff so far today. The right toes turn in, left toes turn out, and you got to kind of like play with the position of your feet, the path of least resistance to start at least, right? And then you're kind of starting slow, maybe breaking it down a little bit more. You know, you see people in fitness, they'll have like a kettlebell. They'll do this. They'll do like this micro movement. I'm having you go a little bit further. Think of it like core work here, guys. Strong legs. The muscles right above the thigh, the quadricep, are kind of lifting up off the knee. So they're supporting the knee, okay? So it's a quadricep engagement or knee extension. It's a really fantastic exercise, really like unique. When compared to a lot of exercises that have a lot of substitutes. It's a really cool one. Try not to forget that one. You get Gracilis Release, and it's really only a couple ways to do that. So I was going to give you a little stretch after that, even though that's kind of like a stretch. You might be feeling that around the lower back. Let's take our first big forward bend, but in the straddle. Our legs really haven't been parallel and wide, so you'll turn your feet in. If you want that big shoulder stretch, hands behind that lower back, intertwine the fingers, big inhale. I like to do the pinky as much as possible. Only one round here, guys, so the opposite pinky grip. If this tends to be the subconscious way, I will switch my fingers so it feels a little bit different. They say that's really good for the youth of the brain, right? It has to think more. We'll sit up, lift the heart, squeeze the butt a little bit, take big forward fold now. If you have a headstand, maybe a good time right now to do that. Just remember, feet are more parallel now. They're not angled open or in. If anything, even slightly in, but parallel. Last couple breaths. Nice, Brian. Hands are a little closer to too close to your head. You want those hands away from the head so you have a nice like, wide base. Think of a tripod. If the feet are too close together in the tripod, it'll fall over easier. The wider base of those tripod legs, the bigger kind of triangle there on the floor, the better that, and it's more stable that tripod is. So you brought your hands wide, but maybe a little more forward. So you're kind of like, people get like this in headstand, but it's more like that. Okay, think forearm plank just on your head and your hands. Same body form, actually. I'm going to keep it going, though, headstanders. So let's keep going here. Let's rise up. We're going to finish up our standing yoga right now, right? So I want you to keep going strong because you know me. People say, how often should I train my legs? And the answer is every day, right? You can train your arms 3-4 days a week, but your legs are every day. Now, I want this nice chair. We get a lateral chair. That's glute medius mainly. This is glute maximus, so you can feel your butt cheeks light up. Now, I want to go Utka Konasana. Now, if you have a block and you want to grab it, you can, but look, I'm not holding my block. I'm just squeezing it. You see that? My fingers are spread. My block goes front, get low. I want to work here, guys. Press the big toe down. Now, don't let my knees buckle in. It's core. Inhale, down to the right. Exhale, up to the left. Feel your core twisting. I'm sorry, it's, you can reverse the breath. I just automatically started to switch it there. I do both. When I do this exercise, I did it a few days ago. You can inhale down, exhale up, or the opposite, exhale down, inhale up. I find it definitely feels a little different. I feel a bigger stretch when I inhale up, and I feel a bigger contraction when I exhale up. So, you know, it's good to just notice that. If you have a breath pattern here, try the opposite. All right. And yogis, your legs should light up. Your legs should be, you know, begging for mercy. That's how you're going to signal strength. A lot of people have trouble building strength quickly because they're not good at, once the intensity starts, at maintaining the willpower of the mind and body. Now listen, take a little breather, shake it out a little bit. So we're not doing revolve triangle, right? So we're doing this kind of instead. We already did a dynamic twist on our chest, and this is kind of that second, more tension one. Come on, let's go strong on our legs one more time here. 2 rounds of this, okay? Don't hold your block, just squeeze it. Sit low. Exhale, inhale, or inhale, exhale. Don't, you know, obsess over the breath there. Pick one and just go for it. Does everyone feel that? It's a really, man, fantastic way to train your core because you're getting transverse abdomen. Remember, your obliques, one set goes from the down center up to the right, on both sides. It goes like a V shape here. And then one is the opposite, like capital A shape. One goes from outer down to upper in. This is such a good exercise here, guys. And you can do it with like bands. I like to do it like that a lot. That's how I did it the other day. Where I go like that with a band. Right? And then you go like that with a band. Really good. We get more resistance. All right, get out of there, guys. Step to the front of your mat, please. I got one more for you here. It is the Warrior 3. We did it standing earlier, but I'm going to say standing split would be a nice option, or handstand hop if you want to go there this morning, okay? If not, I want you to work that solid, static, one-legged hinge. Warrior 3. Hands can start on your hips. Now, if you want to do a little something different, arms were like all out here a lot. You could do reverse prayer, elbows. So it's like fists, elbows, with practice, hands up, palms turned toward each other. That's a nice counter from being down, across, and up. Now, left leg hovers, body hinges, left leg moves with the spine, okay? Now, you can stay here and work that subtlety, dropping your left hip down. Notice if you have too much weight in your toes or your heel, try to a little bit more equal weight distribution there. And remember, whatever hip is lifting, drop it down. We don't need to do half moon. We already did it. Or let's say a substitute. All right, come on, work here. Some of these nice standing split handstand hops if you want to go big, all right? Nice. Yogi's one-legged hinge is so good for flexibility too, and functional exercise. You know, you have to, I like to say, like, this is one of the things you're always going to try to do every class. All right, stand up, please. And then, you know, shake it out so you can do your second side with just as much focus, integrity, okay? And, you know, we did it like this. I think it was 2 weeks ago where I had you, instead I had you inhaling down, exhaling up, working the control. So don't forget, if you missed that class where we were going up and down, opposite arm reaches a couple feet in front of the leg there, and then you come up. It's a really nice way to do this as well. If you don't, we tend to hold this more. So if you miss that week, it's good to do that sometimes, right? Where you're taking something in an active tension. We tend to do the moving in like sun salutations, where we hinge forward and down, up halfway, Now you do it on one leg, right? Try not to round your spine. Slow down, try to feel the imbalances. Hip lifts, knees are bending unintentionally, foot is being lazy, spine is rounding, face is tensing, shoulders lifting. The yogis say that's why it's the first practice. What is my body doing without me noticing? Can I notice more? Can I listen better? The yogis talk about like noticing when something's wrong with your body earlier by this listening process. And we know that when we catch something early, we have better chance of healing it or, not getting sick or something. I remember there's a famous yogi. Keep going if you're done, no worries. Nityananda, he's the head of the Vedic. He said, like the common cold, the meditators can sense like 6-8 weeks ahead before it hits. And then you start resting more and, getting more sun, anti-stress ridden, and you never get the cold. You hit it when it's weak, when the cold virus is weak. All right, let's slowly come up. Nice job, guys. That's it for standing yoga today. Let's widen our feet. Okay, get low, yogi squat, please. So it's a bent knee symmetry after the straight leg hinging. So now it's a squat, chest up, anti-hinge, knees bent. Now, some of these can stay here. You want to throw in a chicken pose, but this is a good time to throw in your crow pose. We didn't do much weight bearing on the arms recently, so you can go big, hold in crow. Sometimes mid-class, you're doing planks and chaturangas and the teacher's like crow and your arms are done. But if you want to take it here too, we did this one yesterday. It's a fantastic stretch. Extension and rotation and squatting. It's like one of the biggest ways you can stretch your body. Nice, Stephen. Point those toes. Big toes touch. Pull those heels up. Yeah, you got to activate those feet. It tends to be a inefficiency you tend to see in the crow, okay? Nice. I like adding crow because it is a bent arm pose. Not many substitutes for there. Really like chaturanga hold. Low plank hold would be a great substitute for crow because straight arm plank is scapular in nature, whereas this is hugged in like this. Bent arm strength being very different from our straight arm scapular strength, okay? All right, let's step back, and I am gonna stay in weight bearing in the arms. Now, since we got a small group, I want you to think, putting a lot of difficulty into the arms, all right? Some options include dolphin, forearm balance, handstand at the wall, side plank, flip dog, fallen triangle. I want you to work your arms with weight on them until you have to quit, and then you try again. I just mentioned a lot of things. What do you do the least of? That's probably how you're going to encourage strength the fastest. The most difficult for me out of all those is being on my forearms, personally. So I would go, okay, forearm plank I can hold pretty good, but what can I? Oh, dolphin, right? Putting that weight there. Now, what's a really strong way to train me here is left forearm down, one arm. So I'm getting a little crazy now, but I'm in this one arm dolphin. I tend to find that that's way more difficult than side plank. For me, I can hold side plank pretty well now. So I want you to pick your training this morning for your weight bearing arms. We don't have weights, so we have to kind of hit the body up over the arms here and then work here, yogis. Try to be calm, study what you're doing with your body. If you're in side plank or regular plank, engage your butt and your thighs. If you're in dolphin or forearm balance, pull the chest through the arms, try to let the head hang low. Headstand will work here. If you want to do headstand A, I wouldn't say tripod as much, but gripping the hands behind the head, hugging your elbows in. I know one or two years, I don't know if it was anyone here, but want to get headstand and work on it, and I don't teach it that much. I do it a lot though. So here's a space today to try to get that headstand going, okay? Nice, yep. Side plank is also one of the best, a balancing plank. You're in a one arm position, gonna really signal strength quick.
Nice, Brian. I like to do, I used to do this, the held handstands at the wall with a timer for years. I used to try to keep like going longer, and I don't do it as much anymore, but I'll tell you, you want to get strong in your shoulders for yoga, holding handstand at the wall and endurance. Put weight on the arms, just hold as long as you can. That will really change your arm balance, strength game when the arms are bearing weight above the head. Not really much comparison, right? Can't really match that. So I'm just going to give you the last 30 seconds here. And then what we're going to do is abs, back body, and then a stretch or two. So you're pretty much almost at the end of class, all right? You can know that working hard here in the end. I mentioned Jivamukti Yoga. You go into their class, it says class starts at 9, ending, there's no time, it says to be determined. They do that in Dharma too. Class will be like 2.5 hours sometimes it'll be an hour and a half. You don't really know. I always like knowing when class is over because you can push hard knowing there's not that much strength left, okay? So I want you to get your abs fired here, guys. So now what we're doing is taking the weight off of the arms and working the front body one last big time here. We didn't do too much abs. There was the good twisting, the lateral triangle, but this is the isolation of your abs more. And I'm going to do something I don't teach it enough. It's just the bicycling with the pulsing at the end. It is 2 parts here. So I'm going to start with my hands behind my head. Okay. If you want to do any of the other twists here, that's fine. But this is the one I teach the least. Really, it's low boat, curl the body, exhale, inhale. You can also do something like this. Okay. It's kind of like a straight arm and straight leg bicycle. But, working here today, you're just basically breathing, twisting, elbow to knee. I have a little like strain, or my psoas has like been locked for a week. Something I do. I started to play competitive basketball and played like 5 games in a row one day. It was like 2 hours, and my psoas has like been locked, and I could really feel it doing stuff like that. I mean, it's really like limiting my strength. Trying to work on massaging it out. I'll take like a yoga block and I lay it hollowing on the empty abdomen, and I push up in there, and there's something hurting in there. So just notice stuff like that, right? Don't try to fight through something that's like injured here. You gotta work hard, but then your body will force you to take breaks. So listen, you're gonna do the final part for your abs. It's a little pulse. You're gonna hold your right elbow to your left knee. So you're gonna twist. Hold your right elbow to your left knee, and it's this little pulse in your chest. It's not a big twist. It's a hold of a twist, and it's more like a pulse upward in the core. So my left shoulder is lifting, and you just pulse about 10 to 12 times. Should get very difficult. It's a very small pulse, Yogi. It's not a big jerk, okay? And then left elbow, right knee, right to the final side. Last abs here. Left elbow pulses toward right knee. Go ahead. Pulse, pulse. I tend to do it like in yoga practice in particular, pulsing on end ranges in compression strength mainly, right? Not like a length and tension, but the pulsing is such an awesome way to get muscles to really fire. So listen here in the end, last strenuous exercise. We're going to do the bridge and wheel, but if you want to do a bow, I suggest active. We did hip extensions, we did cobra, but if you want to go peak back body, reverse plank, bow, or wheel. Wheel would be the big one. Bridge would be kind of softer. Arms down, feet down, hips lift. You know what to do here. Big toes down, heels squeeze toward shoulders, posterior tilt, pubic bone kind of up and more toward the chest. You could always do a one-legged bridge, peak glute here in the posterior core.
Our other main glute max was our goddess hold and our table leg lifting. Those are the straight leg bent knee static rotational. And now it's the main, what we call hip thrust and posterior tilt. So we're being really well rounded in the glutes today. All right. So last minute and a half, wheel holds. Make sure you slowly lower down, tucking the chin. So you don't want to like exit fast, hit your head. I see people holding wheel and they kind of collapse out of it. You got to exit slow, Yogi. Save energy for a more skillful exit. Back bending practice. We got another minute, please. We're going to stretch after this, guys. Come on, yogis, one more. All right, guys, so I'm going to keep moving forward. I just wanted to give you a little extra stretch. Looks like we got about 8 minutes left in class here. I'm going to rock you up to seated position. Once you're done, little happy baby to start. Maybe, anything else needed there. Just regulars. You take as long as you need. And I want to do this dynamic stretch today. We did splits. We did straddle forward fold and dynamic triangles. Did a lot up there. So I want to do this straddle dynamic movement. I want to think bigger movements, no sun salutations, not too many like big opening movements here. So I'm going to sit up eventually, widen my legs. Now it just kind of starts like this, kind of rocking over the legs. Okay, and then watch me here. I reach the left hand toward the right foot and right hand toward the left foot. I suggest taking it slow, yogis. So this is more of my twisting variation. I could start to go up here, more of a lateral. You think it's a triangle, but it's a lateral flexion where there's minimal lateral flexion in triangle. But the main thing we're going to try to do is this big kind of circular thing here. It's like I turn my chest down to the right, I come across, side bend a little, and it's this big kind of free movement, circular, twisting, side bending movement, okay? And if it's too much, keep your hands on the floor. You can hold a stretch if you want. Kind of pause. You can also just go like up and down a few times. It's like all the stretches we do. Sometimes we side bend here. Sometimes we twist. Sometimes we forward bend. Okay, and so it's kind of a mix of all those, let's say. So we're pretty much done with inner thighs. Hamstrings are done. I'm going to do the outer hip, the Gomukhasana. So it's kind of the opposite still. If you have a strap, it's going to be a good shoulder stretch as well. So when you're done with your wide-legged, straight-legged dynamic, static, bent knee, cross. So it's kind of all the opposite there. Right knee outside left heel. Don't forget, you can just cross your shins. You can do figure four, pigeon. Kind of the same category here. Now just notice, my left heel swings around toward my right hip, but I don't want to sit on the right heel. Trying to get the right hip inside that heel, okay? Pulling the feet back here. Trying to sit those sit bones down, guys, on the floor, all right? Now with practice, I ice skated yesterday, so my hips are super tight. Knees are going to stack more angled forward. We're going to sit up tall, press the feet, sit bones down, and we're going to forward bend here. Double pigeon is a nice thing I also don't teach enough of. If you want to do that, that's where the shins stack. For our shoulder option, your left arm would go up and you'd reach down your spine behind you. You'd hug your elbow in, grab your shirt, your strap with that hand. Right arm goes out, palm face the back, elbow bends down behind you. The elbows are hugging in, the hands are reaching toward each other. And then you start to hinge here, forward bending. So a few more breaths here. It should feel very compressive. Try to relax into it. Breathe deep. All right, yogis. Now take your time, right? It's a really big one to hold, especially with the shoulders. Everyone I can see was trying those shoulders there. You would sit up and, lean back, release your legs a little bit, shake them out if you need. And then it's right heel, left heel outside right knee, and the right heel swings around to the left. So the heels are going to like the opposite hips, right? And then you work on trying to get the sit bones down. You don't want to be stuck in this kind of big lateral tilt and spine bend, okay? I love the side stretch here. We do that as well a lot. Where at whatever hips pin down, if you were to reach your opposite arm up and back, we just kind of did side stretching. We did many in class today. So whatever hips pin down, just because I mentioned it, whatever hip is pinned down, in this case it's my right, I would reach that arm up and over. It's a really nice side stretch, just in case. Right arm would go up, down, left arm would go out, back, and up, hugging the elbows in, and then you forward fold. All right, Yogi. So whenever you're ready, it's been a pretty strong practice. If you want one last little spiral twist, you could sit, cross the foot outside the knee and twist to that opposite. It's the same side as the knee there. Another nice one is just to lay on your back and do a twist. Knees come in, you drop them over to the side. If there's any other stretch you want to do, we have about a minute and a half before we should probably get into our Shavasana. So how about I give you one last go at a pose of your choice. Another nice one could be plow or just laying on a block in some form, fish or bridge. Nice. Yeah, if you have another inversion, go for it. So, you take another 30 seconds and finish up your final pose. And again, if you want to extend your practice, you're feeling good, the end of a yoga class is excellent for just, if you're feeling up to it, you go a little longer, right? And you do your Shavasana whenever you're ready, your meditation. So whenever you're done there, I'm going to basically guide you into your meditation. I'm going to leave you in it. I do have to get to my next class here, so I'll stay with you for a couple of minutes here just to settle you in, and then you're going to try to extend your Shavasana or whatever style of meditation you're working on, okay? So I do want you to think a little bit beyond the body here in the end.
So if you were to continue with your practice, that wouldn't count as our closing meditation. All right. So remember, our goal is to just get comfortable and to give your body, breath, and mind a rest. So busy class, a lot to do and think about. Busy on the body and breath, obviously there. But now we want to just rest it all. So all three parts there, just letting go here to close out practice. The yogis say it's the most surrenderous pose of class. So there's like no action, no control. It's the opposite, letting go, surrendering. And then it's also commonly thought of as a practice of just being. So you're not doing, you're just being. And what does that mean, right? That's tough. You're not trying not to do anything physically. You're trying not to do anything energetically or with the breath, but you're not trying to do anything with the mind, like think. So establish yourself in your comfortable position. I like to take a moment to shake it out, but then commit to stillness, close my eyes, maybe take a breath or two here. And then just kind of slowly drifting into your trance-like state and trying to stay in this as long as you can this morning. I will leave you here, yogis. Thank you so much for showing up, working hard. Next class is Tuesday morning yoga core, 9 a.m. All right. Have a nice Sunday, everyone. Namaste.